Hello, everybody. Happy Hump Day. It is Wednesday, March 6th, and we have an awesome webinar for you today talking about what it is to be a real estate professional in the eyes of the IRS. This is a topic that I talk with people about literally every day. A lot of people don't understand the difference between being a professional and not being a professional. And no, this is not just about whether or not you have a real estate license. And really, what it boils down to is the ability to offset active income. So, I'm going to teach you all about this today. We've got amazing webinars coming up as we approach summer. So, March 21st, we are going to have the legal and tax implications of the 2024 election, talk about how the different candidates' policies are going to affect us as real estate investors and those who really just invest in different states and what they think needs to change. Because, once we get into election season, they start talking about all the things that they think need to get fixed or adjusted. One of the big topics in most elections has been 1031 exchanges and whether they're going to do away with them. So this will be a great webinar. We're going to talk through what those policies look like, of course, knowing that that is all subject to change. After that, we're going to have Debt Decoded, Mastering the Strategy of Good Debt versus Bad Debt. That will be on March 26th at 8 o'clock. And after that, we've got Protecting Property, which is going through my insurance strategies to help you build a portfolio that is profitable. We have very unique insurance programs and supplemental policies we carry, although very affordable. They offer some unique protection, especially on older properties. We're going to talk through all of that, as well as umbrella, general liability, all those things. So that'll be on April 4th. On the 10th, we're going to go through short-term rentals, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And then that's going to conclude our pre-summer season on the 17th with the Wealth and Rentals virtual conference, where we put everything together for you in a 2 to 3 hour class that goes over everything that is real estate investing. If you've missed any of my webinars, you can go to YouTube, catch that recording at any time. Of course, you can also follow social media or go to our website, slaughterinvesting.com, to pull up old webinars to go back and watch. We have our virtual mastermind upcoming on May 1st at 11 a.m. This is a deep dive into your investment, your situation in a small group environment with customized one-on-one recommendations and discussion with Michael and myself. These are incredibly successful for people. They're eye-opening, I've been told, and it's great to have one virtually so that you don't have to come here in person to do that. The cost for that is $500, and we do have a few slots still available. So if you're interested in that, you can scan this QR code or you can reach out to us at info@slaughterinvesting.com. We're going to have our in-person big group mastermind. So this will be limited to about 15 people, and that's going to be on April 28th. Similar, except this one's going to be at my personal home. You'll get to see my ranch, meet my animals, and see what our why is and how we made that happen. So very similar layout, just a little longer, a little more in depth. And of course, this one's in person in DFW. That's $750 for a single or $1,000 for a couple. Again, we have a few slots left here. We would love to see you there. We've got our huge April Spring Fling weekend coming up. That's going to be the 26th to the 28th of April. We've got our big charter bus tour on the 26th. We've got the Spring Mixer family-friendly event at our home on the 27th. And then on the 28th, we have the in-person mastermind I just mentioned. We would love to see you there. For more information, you can visit our website or you can scan any of these QR codes on this or replay. We have our, as I mentioned, big bus tour on that Friday, the 26th. I will be there. This is the weekend of our Spring Fling. It's going to be an awesome tour. We're going to meet some of the people involved in these bigger cities that we're talking about. City council members, mayor, those types of people, to really show you what's going on in our market and how excited we are about the growth specifically in Grayson County. So hope you'll be able to attend that. It'll be a big one. And we've got other property tours too. If that date doesn't work for you, we've got a weekend event coming up on March 23rd. We've got one on April 5th, and of course, moving into May and June. We also do private tours. If that's something that you're interested in, don't hesitate to reach out to the team and we can let you know what dates we have available. All property tours are done in conjunction with OmniKey Realty, our real estate company. If you haven't joined our mailing list, it's the best way to stay up to date on everything that we do, from webinars to live events to our monthly meetups. And of course, if you're watching this webinar, I hope you're already on that. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend you join that. We are sending out updates on the market, on rates, on everything that really affects real estate in general and investing all throughout the week. So it's a great way to also stay up to date on what's happening in the world. Before I begin, everything I'm going to talk about today is based on my best years and experience as not only a real estate investor, but also someone who works in real estate as a real estate licensee. Today's education is not as a licensee, it is as someone who has been experienced in this model and in this market for almost 20 years. Today's content is talking about tax law and talking about legal things, but I'm not a CPA and I'm not an attorney. And so you're going to see a whole separate disclaimer on that. But I do want you to know that we do believe our model is the best one out there. But of course, all real estate can be subject to potential loss of monies invested. And so we are one tool in your toolbox to help you on your journey as you formulate what is going to work best for you as an investor. I'm very excited to be able to bring content to you on an almost weekly basis and to be able to guide people on my consult calls all throughout the week. But at the end of the day, you have to decide what is the right fit for you. And again, although we believe our model is the best and that it has done amazing things for my husband and myself, our goal is to educate you so you can figure out what is best for you. And we want to be here to help support you in that journey. And that's why this free education is so integral and important to what we believe in. Before I jump into our class today, I want to give you just a couple little market updates on North Texas. Really important stuff going on. I loved the new ISD information that came out this past week. 94% of Sherman ISD students are enrolled in tech courses, and they offer 24 tech programs. Electrical engineering is starting next year, and robotics and STEM is now being offered as beginning all the way in middle school. Pretty incredible when you look at that. And of course, why is that happening? Because there's literally thousands and thousands of jobs in tech, and they have to have people to fill these jobs. And these places have said this is just the beginning of their investment vehicle. So we know the jobs are just going to keep coming rapid. And so very important that they have the people to fill those jobs, given that we have more jobs available than people to fill them. We had Senator John Cornyn here recently. He just came this month and he talked about the impact of the CHIPS for America Act and, of course, all of the funding that they anticipate that's going to start having an effect in the Texoma corridor. The senator did use Silicon Prairie, so I guess Silicon Alley might be out. But at the end of the day, the thing that you need to remember is that none of that CHIPS Act money, not only on the national level where we were designated Texoma area as one of the 31 hubs, but also from the local Texas money that's coming through their CHIPS Act, everything that's been happening in Sherman in this area is from their own money and other sources. So all that CHIPS Act money has not been used yet. It has not been allocated yet, which means more growth, more benefit, especially into this Texoma corridor, which is one of the forefront of the 31 areas. A couple more things for you to know. I talk a lot about the two developments going on in Denison that are slated to double the population of the area. This is one of those we don't talk a lot about called Preston Harbor. It's going to have 7,500 homes, up to 20,000 new residents. This area is benefiting from 15,000 jobs and $6 billion in development. Absolutely incredible stuff going on. And it's real funny because the longtime editor for the Dallas Morning News just signed off, and his ending quote was, "The joke that DFW would grow all the way north to the Red River is about to become fact. Thousands of people are moving up to Grayson County to work at multi-billion-dollar chip plants and live in new neighborhoods along US 75. When I started selling out here and telling people to buy in this area almost a decade ago, there were people who thought I was crazy. And, it's funny because we've always done that model. We've always pushed beyond what is considered the current bounds of where the metro is. And these areas have done phenomenal historically throughout my entire career. And I'm proud to say that I haven't had a client through the recession and beyond that has found themselves in a position of losing a lot of money because of value loss. And so, at the end of the day, it's about buying something that is resilient. It's about finding an area that's resilient. And anytime you see an area that is on the cusp of a very expensive, desirable area that's experiencing massive growth, it only makes logical sense in an infrastructure like DFW has, with wide open space and the largest or second largest number of highway miles per capita in the US, that it's going to continue to expand outward. And so as much as it was a joke for the longest time, no one's laughing anymore. Everyone understands what's happening up here in Grayson County and Northern Collin County. And we are just very fortunate to be a part of that and to have these relationships with builders and people who are still selling to us off market. So anyway, just really, really neat sign off note for him. Steve Brown's been writing this area for a very long time, hugely respected. And I love that he gave homage to Grayson County and what things are happening up there. New report came out talking about Dallas wealth. Incredible. We have over 92,000 millionaires in Dallas, over 4,300 multimillionaires, and then 211 centimillionaires and 18 billionaires. Absolutely incredible. Lots and lots of money here in North Texas. And another news, Texas is the #1 state for Generation Z. Net migration for Gen Z. Texas blows everybody out of the water, almost double Florida. And that is anyone born between 1996 and 2004. Why is this important? Texas has more children about to age into rental and home ownership turning 18 and under the age of 18 than any other state. And on top of that, 75% of Generation Z are renters. The main reason that they are all moving, cost of rent. No surprise there. So incredible, incredible things happening, not only from the perspective of Texas booming and the business and the development and the growth, but also the trends of people continuing to move here, seeking better pay, better cost of living, and just a better life. Mortgage rates continue to be a bit all over the place. In December, of course, we were expecting that rates are going to drop a full percentage point. I think that a lot of experts are still calling for the same thing. I'm going to show you a chart here in a moment. January 2024, rates went down. February, they came back up a little bit, and they have announced that they expect up to 4 federal rate cuts in 2024. If you are not buying real estate in preparation for those rates coming down and prices going up, I strongly, strongly suggest you rethink your real estate investment journey, because we are at the cusp of complete change. And I think depending on how this election goes, it could be something absolutely incredible like we saw in 2020, 2021. And for those of you who aren't aware, those years we were seeing 25, 30% appreciation. So again, no crystal ball, but I'm all in, buying lots of real estate. I've got lots and lots closing, and it's very interesting to see different people's takes on interest rates. But at the end of the day, pretty much all the major players are in agreement that rates are going to come down, and they're going to come down significantly. So here we're looking at Fannie Mae, the MBA, and Wells Fargo, and you will see that it's just a constant drop is what everyone is expecting once we get through really Q2, Q1 of this year. So I've been saying I think it's going to be late summer. It's possible we might see a small drop in June or July. The election's going to play a huge role here, guys. It's all going to be about sentiment. And so don't be surprised if you see some volatility coming in near the end of this year. But we want that, because what that means is it's a great opportunity for stabilization once the election passes. And that's what we're all banking on. All right, you came here to learn about professional benefits of being a real estate professional, and let's talk about that. This is a huge topic, and any real estate investor, no matter where you start, whether it's with 1 properties or 100 properties, you have to understand this process to truly understand how it is that you get ahead in real estate. For those of you who don't know me, my husband and I are middle school sweethearts. We own multiple businesses all around real estate for now the last 18 years. I have a $40 million real estate portfolio, and I speak all over the US, not only about my journey, but about how we did it. I am from here. I've lived here my whole life, and it has been just my joy and my blessing to be able to watch what's happened in DFW and grow up with such a unique intro into real estate. And that's a story for another day. But because of the volume that we were doing at 18 and 19, we were able to really see and call what was happening with the market and develop a model that was resilient to work around that. So if you haven't ever heard our journey, maybe I'll add that onto the webinar schedule so you can know a little bit more about what Michael and I were doing back before the crash and how we got where we are. So legal disclaimer, I told you it was coming. Here it is. I am not a CPA. I'm not a tax expert. I can't give you tax advice. I'm not a recipient of a law degree. I can't give you tax and law advice. And I'm not a licensed employee of the IRS. What I am is a real estate professional in the eyes of the IRS. I am an industry expert with over 18 years experience. I am an investor with a large portfolio. I'm an avid follower of real estate news, history, and trends. I read all day, every day. And I am a coach that has helped others work to become real estate professionals and follow my footsteps. So just to reiterate, I am not a CPA. This is not legal advice. This is not tax advice. There are no guarantees in anything I'm telling you. I am merely giving you the education so that you can talk to the professionals in your life and figure out how you can make this benefit you. So there's a lot of benefits to being a real estate professional. One of the big topics we're going to cover today is, why do you want to be classified as a real estate professional? How do you become a real estate professional in the eyes of the IRS? And what do you do to maintain real estate professional status? If you can understand and implement these three things, you're going to be golden. And if you're not yet at this status and you truly want to create passive income for yourself through the power of real estate, this should be number one goal on the top of your list. The incentive lies in the ability to offset taxable income, what we are calling active income, through deductions and credits that are associated with the real estate activities that you do. There's a lot of ways that this can work, and so I'm going to show you some examples of what this looks like. Real estate professionals, when you're categorized as one, it allows you to use losses from your rental real estate activities, meaning depreciation, it's mostly the losses we're talking about here, to offset other forms of active income, like your W-2 job or wages or your business income. So this is the thing that we use for people like me to have more deductions than we have income, and those deductions in real estate can be applied towards the income to essentially not pay taxes. And this is the power of depreciation with real estate. So if you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, let's make it bare basics. You have a set amount every single year that your property is going to depreciate. We call that straight line depreciation. Now I'm going to talk about cost segregation where you can enhance that in a little bit, but I'm going to keep it simple for a moment. So let's say that you have a property with a basis of $200,000. Every single year, you're going to straight line depreciate over a 27.5-year life. So that means that one house is going to depreciate $772.72 of your income every single year. The problem is, if you are not a real estate professional, it only applies towards your passive ventures, meaning your real estate investing. So if you don't have $7,200 in income from that property to offset, you cannot apply it. However, you don't lose it. It carries forward and it carries forward. By being a real estate professional, your main income, your primary income, or if you married and you filed jointly, your spouse's income now becomes income that you can apply that against. And that is the power of being a real estate professional. This status essentially acts like a tax shelter, shielding you from paying additional taxes. Real estate professionals are eligible to deduct tons of expenses related to their real estate activities. The ones you know about that we all deduct are property management fees, maintenance costs, utilities, all those things that you think about. There's other things you can deduct too. Real estate professionals also can be eligible for specific tax credits related to real estate investments, like energy efficient property credits, historic rehab credits, lots of things that are different when you become a real estate professional. And again, the difference typically lies in the fact that that depreciation loss or the credit loss can be applied against active income. We have the flexibility as real estate professionals to diversify our portfolios and take advantage of all of these tax strategies and lots of different type real estate ventures. Real estate professionals really truly have a ability to build an incredible portfolio, because what you're saving in taxes and what you're able to do when building that portfolio allows you to move forward at a faster pace. Someone like me who wipes away over $1.5 million in depreciation a year, that's significant, guys. That's significant. And at the end of the day, it doesn't take as much as you think. It really truly doesn't take as much as you think. Say that you have a $200,000 income and you need to take that and divide that out over whatever real estate you're doing, right? So at 27.5 years, what we're talking about here is about 3.6% a year. So all you need is enough to wipe away that income. And that is what the goal of what most people have is, right? They just want to have just enough depreciation that they don't pay taxes. And that's a really important distinction, because some people are in this just for passive income. Some people are in this just because they want to build a portfolio and have something to leave their kids. But what they don't think about are all the benefits that you also get today. And those are the things that people easily forget, like principal pay down, the amount you're paying down a mortgage every single month. the amount that you're going to save on your taxes, which is money you're saving. It's not like it's just sitting there and it just applies to your taxes. That's physically money you are not spending. That also is income. The power of real estate is more than just the cash flow. It's more than just the appreciation. There are so many things that real estate affects. When we talk about this $200,000 a year income, a lot of people think that means you have to have this incredibly large, massive portfolio to be able to do that. But in reality, when we talk about straight line depreciation, we're talking about a basis of $5.5 million. So we're talking about if you have $5.5 million in properties divided over a 27.5-year straight line depreciation, that is $200,000 a year of depreciation. Pretty incredible, because when you look at $5.5 million and we take that over, let's say the houses are $250,000 a piece to get that $200,000 each, we're talking about 20 to 22 houses, which is very doable for most people who start and are aggressive with their real estate investing journey. This is why the 2 to 6 year model becomes so important, because when you don't leverage and you're not continuing to build and increase your portfolio, think about it this way. If you have one home at 200,000 or 5 homes leveraged into $1 million for the same cash output, on the $1 million, you're going to have a lot more appreciation, a lot more depreciation, as opposed to if you only had the 200,000 in cash or you only bought one home. You're losing out on a lot of those benefits. And so there's a lot of reasons why a larger portfolio is more important, why the 2 to 6 year model is more important. Yes, it allows you to take one piece of money, one pot of money, and take it as far as you can. Yes, it allows you to have lots of cash flow increasing as you have more properties. Yes, we have more appreciation because you have more properties appreciating, and you're appreciating on the total value of all the properties, not just what your loan amount or down payment is. There's so many benefits to real estate. The biggest one people forget is depreciation. Michael and I have had investments including and not limited to pretty much anything you can think of: multifamily, single family, small and large apartments, commercial real estate, townhomes and half duplexes, land, Section 8 housing, vacation and short-term rentals, and even historic homes. We have tried and done it all. And in fact, everything on this list I still own today. So why diversify? If you've ever listened to me talk, you know I prefer some of these investments over others. That said, someone like me buys packages. And so I get stuck with, and yes, I use that term very appropriately, stuck with commercial real estate. I knew the opportunity that existed in 2018 and 2019, and I bought some depressed multifamily. Why did I do that? I have the ability to do that. I have my own crews. Not a model I love, not a model I recommend. I can assure you I'm not going to be buying large multifamily again. Now, let's talk about what a diverse portfolio provides you. Because at the end of the day, all of these things that we are doing are designed to make your life easier. From an income perspective, from a risk diversification perspective, from a tax planning, from an estate planning, everything that we do is all about diversity. And at the end of the day, when I look at the single most important thing in real estate that matters to me, it's stability. Stability is important because it's something that I don't have to worry. I tell people all the time when we're talking about a property and they're trying to decide whether or not to buy it, one of the biggest things I say every time I talk to someone in that situation: are you going to be able to sleep tonight not worrying about your investment? Because it doesn't matter how good a deal it is. It doesn't matter how good the numbers are. It doesn't matter how good the team or the market or the area or the model is. What matters is your faith in it and your ability to go to bed at night and feel comfortable and feel confident and not stress out is so paramount to your success. Because when we are clear-headed, when we are focused, when we are not stressed, that is when we make the best educated decisions on not only our investment, but everything else in life too. So the only time I don't want you to have some level of diversity is when all evidence points to something being a sure bet. Now, of course, I believe that's investing in North Texas. I've bought many projects over the years where I believed that project was the same way. I have lots of webinars talking about why to invest in North Texas. If you don't know that yet, please go pull those up and watch them, but that's not going to be my focus today. So let's talk about the benefits, long-term wealth building. Over the course of years and decades, real estate professionals are going to keep exponentially benefiting from their appreciation on their properties, as I mentioned, their rental income on their properties, and the compounding tax advantages of having these properties. The thing that you have to remember is that by being a real estate professional, this is now your business. That is what the IRS considers your business. And that is why there are rules about being able to qualify for this. So this isn't going to apply to everybody, but it is important to note that real estate professionals are operating their own businesses. And as such, we can deduct business related expenses such as marketing, professional development, and travel. Cost segregation is probably the single most important tool right now for real estate professionals that we can take advantage of. And essentially what cost segregation does is it looks at identifying and reclassifying parts or components of a property that can be appreciated at a faster rate than that 27.5-year straight line depreciation. So I'm not going to go too deep into this today. I have great webinars that I've taught on this, but I want you to take a look at this illustration on a $350,000 rental property. In the white is what you would be able to claim as a non-real estate professional, your depreciation, upfront expenses, straight line, etc. And the green is the added benefit of being a real estate professional of what you can write off in your first year. Absolutely incredible potential here. For me, when I did my cost segregation, it was about 30% of the basis I was able to write off year one. And now there's kind of the sliding scale where it's going down every single year, but we're still talking large percentages of the value of property, especially for those of you that have properties you purchased where you could cost segregate them in 2023, 2022, etc. And if you've already bought the property before this year, it's not too late to segregate. You can still go back and segregate a property that you have owned. We have a wonderful flow chart going over cost segregation. So I'm going to give you a minute to get your camera out and you can take a snapshot of this QR code to pull up that flow chart. Don't worry if you didn't get it right now. You can watch it at replay, or of course you can always find those on our website or email us info@slaughterinvesting.com for any of the flow charts that we use during our webinars. So let's talk about benefits of being a real estate professional, because this all leads to our ultimate goal, which is lower taxable income, meaning you're actually making money and money is in your pocket. So we want to pay less in taxes, right? That's our goal. So how do we start that process? You essentially don't have to start anywhere other than buying real estate. But once you have that in your mind, I'm going to buy real estate, I'm going to be a real estate investor. Now what we have to do is start documentation, and that is probably the most important thing. What are we documenting? The hardest part of being classified as a real estate professional is meeting two criteria. Now, someone like me who works every day in real estate, I'm a real estate licensee. I quite literally sell real estate. I teach real estate. I live and breathe real estate. It's pretty easy, right? No one's going to doubt that I am a real estate professional. But how about you? You work full time. You have a spouse that stays at home. You have tests that you have to meet. These are the tests. The first rule is the 50% rule. To qualify as a real estate professional, the IRS says that you have to perform 50% of your services in real estate businesses or trades in which you materially participate. You have to spend more time doing your real estate activities than you do any other kind of work. Now, there's a few ways for a dual income household to do this. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And there's the 750-hour rule. So you have to perform more than 750 hours yearly of service in real property trades or businesses in which you materially participate. Now, I want to make sure you understand that the whole point of this is to make sure that someone who's not actively working in real estate can't gain the benefits of being a real estate professional, because it is considering it your career. By being a real estate professional, it is your job in real estate. That is your job. And so that is why these rules exist. Now, some people might think that sounds daunting, and a lot of people I talk to, they do, but don't panic. The real secret is in the details and how you make it work. The thing you have to remember is that that hour requirement is only just over 14 hours a week. Most of us spend more time than that scrolling Facebook or watching TV. You are collecting these hours right now. What you are doing to educate yourself counts. At the end of the day, they call for real estate activities. So what exactly does that mean? Acquiring properties, securing financing, managing tenants. That's not all it means though. Reading real estate books, watching educational webinars, attending real estate networking events. It's very, very easy to meet the hour requirement. It's very, very easy to meet the 50% requirement. The problem is if you are working a full-time job. And that is where you have to get creative. That is where the tax entity and people that you work with, whether it's a company or an individual, is going to be paramount to your success and guiding you on that journey. I have clients who quite literally have gone from full-time employment to 1099 employment just so they can take advantage of the incredible benefits of being a real estate professional. One of the things I caution people to watch out for are the trendy events. A lot of people in real estate, or people who act like they're really busy in real estate, they hold happy hour events. They use outdated content and keep pushing the same stuff out over and over. And so it can be really easy to get in a cycle of listening and being around those who truly are not living what they're talking about. There's a lot of people out there making noise on social media, making noise on YouTube. Make sure you vet who you're listening to. Make sure they're truly doing what they say they're doing. Make sure they're truly educated, and make sure the groups that you're a part of are not just meeting up to hang out. And I'll leave it at that. There's a lot of things in real estate that are social, and that's wonderful. I love the social aspect. I have made so many friends and people who I consider family through this industry. But a lot of the meetups and a lot of the things that people do are solely revolving around hanging out with other people and drinking and just talking about everything, not real estate. And that's great. Go do that. Don't use that for your education. Don't use that for your education. So let's talk about spouses, because this is probably the most important way that most people become a real estate professional while they are still working full time. It's important to note that if you file jointly, if one of you stays home, can be the real estate professional. One of you can take point on the properties, on the education, on the events, and all of that. So often, if you have a couple that's investing together and one works full time and one doesn't, the one who doesn't work full time is the one that needs to do the real estate professional status. Now, the IRS does not play around. They do not play around. Really important to remember, because you're going to have to keep documentation. And if you're not already documenting what you are doing, you need to start. You need to have time records. You need to have an hour by hour breakdown, not just of your real estate activities, but also your other jobs, to prove that 50% has been spent in real estate. You also need to make sure you're keeping financial records, which I really hope you are anyway, because I don't know how you'd be doing your taxes otherwise. But you want to make sure you are keeping separate records for every single real estate activity, even something as simple as receipts for going to live events, receipts or registration links for going to events. All these types of things. God willing, you never have to use it, but you want to have it in case you need it. I will say I've never heard, knock on wood, of a client getting audited for this, or really audited in general. It's not as common as people may think it is. However, you want to make sure you are protected. So if and when you ever are, you are fine. So activity descriptions you want to keep records of: property management, tenant interactions, acquisitions, development, you name it. And make sure you document everything hour by hour: your contracts and agreements, correspondence and communication, your property records, your tax filings, your tax returns, communication with your CPA, communication with your attorney, with your property manager, with your coach. All these things are your hours that you are looking for, 14 hours, 4-5 every single week. Now, for education and training, you want to make sure you also keep records of what you attend, as I mentioned. So that could be networking events, seminars, workshops, webinars. And you want to make sure that you keep all of that so that if you ever are the target of an audit, you are protected. Now, ways that you can organize this data. We've talked about all these before. You can keep it in a journal. You can spreadsheet it, my favorite way. You can use phone apps like Strides, or you can use whiteboarding. Our recent webinar on organizational tactics is available at this QR code here. It was really part of our beginning 2024 and preparing for building that massive portfolio we're talking about and the unique opportunity that exists right now. So if you didn't watch that, that's QR code to be able to access that one. So let's talk about filing correctly, because this is really important. When you start doing things like cost segregation and 1031 exchanges and real estate professional status, it gets really complicated. So you want to make sure you're using the right forms. And the IRS often has additional documentation to support your claims. So you need to make sure that you have that documentation ready to use. I strongly recommend you use a CPA. If you are a real estate professional, if you have rental property, I strongly recommend you have a CPA. There are federal laws, state laws, and local laws, and they're constantly evolving. You staying current is going to help you maximize your benefits. A good CPA should pay for themselves. And when you decide to go down that path, you want to make sure you're working with professionals who are experienced in real estate. They're going to help you with meeting the criteria, structuring your real estate activities, and making sure you're in compliance with the laws we're talking about here. I can't tell you how many of my clients have a CPA they've been with forever, and that CPA, the minute they start talking to me about consults with them and what they're doing and how they're filing, it's an automatic red flag. If your CPA is not versed in real estate, if they do not work, live, and breathe real estate, I strongly advise you get a different CPA. Howard does my taxes for all my companies and my books. He is amazing. I have dozens and dozens of clients who use him. Of course, it's no matter to me who you use. I get no form of referral fee, compensation, anything like that for referring him to you. I'm telling you about him because he's that good and he does that good of a job. So if you're looking for a new CPA, someone who's extremely versed in real estate, Howard's your guy. If you haven't joined our Wealth and Rentals Facebook group, this is another great way to stay educated. People can ask questions and get answers from not just me, but other industry experts 24/7. We're putting constant news updates, market information, available properties, all sorts of things for you in this Wealth and Rentals Facebook group. And if you haven't scheduled a consult call with me yet, this is a great way to get started on figuring out how to start or how to build or how to move forward in your investment journey. And of course, if you're looking for mentorship, we have our mentorship program. This is the fastest and the most involved and in-depth way to truly completely revolutionize your portfolio and your current financial journey. But this is really a fit for someone who has capital available. And if you haven't listened to our podcast, this is a great way to meet your 14 hours on your work drive or wherever you are during the day. I'm a big podcaster. I love listening and reading and doing this all day to stay up to date on stuff. And so I'm a big believer in that. And if you haven't joined our texting list, this is a great way to find out about last minute events, updates, webinars, just like the webinar we did with the new lending programs a couple of weeks ago. That was a last minute edition, and this is how we sent it out. So you could text join to this number here, and that's how you join our texting list. If you still have questions, you can contact us at info@slaughterinvesting.com. That's 972-837-8765. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this was educational for you, and I'm going to leave you with one closing thought. If you are in the business of buying real estate, I want you to define what being in the business means, because a lot of people think, oh, I only have one rental, I only have two rentals. I'm not in the business of real estate. I'm just dabbling in real estate investing. If you truly want to be successful in real estate and you truly believe in the power of real estate, the biggest shift that you can make mentally, your mental shift, is believing day one that you are a real estate professional. You are building a real estate business. That shift is going to really allow you to make the most educated, the best, and the safest decisions for your real estate investing journey. I thank you so much for joining me today. We'll have a replay of this at 8 o'clock tonight. I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your week and a great weekend. Take care.